I'm so back.
Yo.
Okay. Hi, this is Once to Watch Chef's Choice. I'm Abby Kenna. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm a PJ France.
Did you forget your name?
No, I was just like, should I say something else?
No, that was good. That was fun.
Yeah, it came in right when I needed to.
We're doing really good.
We're crushing it. I have no doubts about this.
One of your pants buttons fell off already.
Yeah, we don't talk about that though.
No one can tell. We're so
pants,
fine.
Yeah, the pants are staying on. Nothing is.
I wasn't worried about that. Well, how are you?
I'm really good. I'm good.
We've come in with such an interesting vibe today.
Yeah. Organized chaos, I feel like.
Yeah. Functioning chaos.
Functioning chaos.
I like that. Well, we were just talking about how you went to Yale, which I think is an insane fact about you.
Yeah. I don't like to talk. I feel like I don't talk about it too much because it feels.
Do you not like to talk about it?
I like to. I'm super happy to talk about it. I feel like it's one of those things, especially in music. There's just so. It's like there's so many people like didn't even go to college and all this stuff, and I don't know. It's not very central to my like musical identity at all, or my personal identity. Really? But it is a cool. It's like a cool fact, I think.
Yes, I think that is the case. What was your major again? Ethics,
politics, and economics. But it honestly ended up being that because that was like the path of least resistance to getting the degree while also being able to make music. Which is how I spent like especially towards the end. Like that's how I was spending almost all my time.
Yeah, you were like doing music and then school was the afterthought kind of?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's wild. What was your thesis?
It was, oh my gosh.
Sorry to make you dig up
No.
trauma.
It's super fun to talk about. I wrote about, before I like long story short, grew up making music, the whole thing. I was like, I'm going to be Justin Bieber. I remember I hated Justin Bieber because
awesome
I thought
that was your goal.
Yeah. I was like, my sisters were obsessed with Justin Bieber, and I was like, it's just kind of fucked up because like not all guys are as good looking as he is and like have those opportunities. I was like so salty about Justin Bieber.
Wait, do you have only sisters?
Yeah, 2 younger sisters.
This makes sense.
I had to watch Never Say Never, like the documentary with them, and I was just like the whole time.
They trained you.
They trained me. Oh, they trained me. Yeah, my sister had like the life-size poster Harry Styles, like the whole thing.
Oh shit.
Anyways, like I was like, I'm gonna do music, put out my first song ever in like late high school. No one listened to it. I was like, okay, like I guess music isn't for me. Like I'm gonna do like the college thing. Went to college and was like, felt like I needed to like figure out what job I wanted, and ended up getting sort of interested in some of the AI stuff. This is like years ago, like 3 years ago. And then came back to music, but still had like that residual interest. So I ended up writing the thesis on like, it was about governments using AI and what like ethical stuff they might like. Yeah. The idea was just that governments like need to care a little bit more about using AI than like your average company. Yeah. And that if they use AI to like, for like court sentencing or all this stuff, there's like extra considerations because they're the government and they like have to like care about the citizens more than a company might care about other people. I don't know.
No, but cool. You do know. Wow. No,
I did know. I've forgotten everything. I blacked out for 3 months when I wrote it.
I so feel that. That's so topical though.
It's cool because it's become even more topical since then. I mean, the AI stuff is nuts. Like stuff is moving so fast too. Like I wrote that like a little over a year ago and it's already so outdated. Like all the stuff I was reading, the stuff I was researching, like there's new things that have already come up that have just completely.
That's honestly scary to think about because you probably had some of like the most like top-notch resources and for like a regular consumer to not have those resources. And I thought that I was caught up on it and I'm probably so far behind on the topic of AI.
I mean, literally no one's caught up. And that's sort of the scary thing is like, even at the time, already judges were using AI to predict like the likelihood that someone would like the recidivism rate, like the likelihood that someone commits another crime. They were using AI tools to like predict that, which would then affect how harsh the sentencing would be. Like no one really knew that. How do you use
AI to predict human nature?
It was like people would fill out a survey, being like
the criminal.
Yeah.
Would fill out a survey to predict their sentence.
They would fill out like a 100-question survey, and then the AI would spit like,
"Oh my God,
60% or like some percent," and then the judge would be like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
And then the judge would take that into account. And this is like, it was only in Florida, I think, but.
Of course it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. But no one knew about it, and no one.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I mean, I haven't been reading about it, but I'm sure there's way more stuff like that happening now.
Wow. I can't wait for the horror movie they make about it.
Yeah, it's scary. But I was like, yeah, that's scary. I'm just going to stick to making beats and writing a few lyrics. But
yeah, so on the flip side of things, when did you start making music?
Yeah, so like grew up singing in choirs. I was in a rock band called Aftermath because we would practice after math class. That's so good. Yeah, it was great.
Wow, you have better high school band names than me.
What's your high school band?
I had a classic rock cover band called Nami Lane because that was the street we met on.
That's cool though.
I was in a metal band.
Fuck yeah. No, I fuck with metal.
Called Shattered Skin.
That's...
I didn't have a say in the name.
Yeah,
so.
But you took it.
They needed a lead singer and I was like, hey guys, what's good? Here I am. But you were in Aftermath.
I was in Aftermath. I mean, this was like 6th grade, and like it was so like I would wear like Abercrombie and Fitch like collared plaid shirts. It was
you
like
and your Hollister.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, grew up with that. Like, got obsessed with piano.
Okay.
Like, and like took some classical lessons when I was a kid, but nothing really connected. And then like sort of started trying to learn more songs by ear and playing like sort of kind of jazz stuff, not really jazz, but like just sort of playing around with, like, instead of reading the sheet music, like thinking about chords, learning songs by ear, that sort of stuff. And I just got obsessed with it. And I would like 6th grade PJ, like had no friends and was like very nervous to like at lunch. And so I would just go to the choir room where the teacher was gone and I would just like play piano for like all of lunch. I think we're the
same person.
Oh yeah.
That's scary. Yeah.
6th grade is a tough time. It's a tough time.
It was rough, but having lunch in the choir room is like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a trauma, but it's also like, I feel like it's been so interesting recently. Like since graduating, I've been just like doing so much reflecting on like my creative process and like what I need to be creative. And so much of it goes back to that feeling of like, you just like, there's no time pressure. There's no anything. You're just sort of like with this instrument and you're just like having fun and playing around with it and finding what feels good.
Yeah, and like truly using it as an expression or like a therapy tool. No, exactly. Almost.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I used to wake up early before school so that I could play piano before getting on the bus.
That's sick. That's super dope.
I loved it so much. And now I think about it, I'm like, every time I sit down at the piano, I have that feeling of like, oh, I have to write something good or I have to work on this or practice this. And I can't remember the last time I've just like sat down like that.
Yeah, so much gets in the way, I think.
But that's where your music started.
Definitely. And like I really go back. I've been going back to that more recently and memories. Yeah, like it would be like that continued through middle and high school and through college. What was dope about Yale is they have so many grand pianos like all over the place.
Oh, that's a dream.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
And like the dorm I was in, like the literal like room you'd have to go into to get to your like the sort of like shared living room that everyone had access to had 2 grand pianos in it. Whoa. And so you get home blacked from like a party at like 2 a.m. and be like,
dueling
fuck
piano.
Yeah, we're going hard. It was actually sick. It was so fun.
Yeah, you were that guy that was always playing piano.
Yeah. Only at 2 a.m. It was
the worst time to play piano. Awesome though.
Yeah, it was a little obnoxious, but it was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you released your first song in high school.
Yes, released my like different artist, different era. Like it's actually been taken down. It's been erased.
Whoa, what was it called?
It was actually a whole album that I made with my buddy I was in choir with him forever. We're actually roommates now.
Oh, sweet.
We like wrote and produced this album together. It was like this. It needed to not exist anymore because it was too angsty. Like my girlfriend broke up with me senior year of high school, and she immediately started dating one of my close friends.
Whoa.
And it was like it was like Armageddon. Like I didn't even know pain could be felt like that.
Yes.
And I was like, Henry, like I need to get this out. Like I need to make this thing. And we made like a sad song. There was a Kanye infused a diss track. It was like horrible. Like
that's so 17.
And then 2 years later we were like, and we were making it being like, this is gonna change the music industry. Like wait till the labels hear this. Like we had no fucking idea what was going on. And no one listens to it. And then we're like, fuck.
Yes.
And
it drove you to study ethics.
Exactly. And then I gave up on that.
Nice.
But no, yeah.
And now we're so back.
Exactly. We're so back. Yeah. It was a long journey. I feel like I started with the artist stuff, then took this long circuitous route. Like I was, I'm gonna be a writer producer, and then like just got totally drawn back to like artist stuff.
What
in the last 2
made
years.
you like steer away from the artist stuff?
I think I got a little in my head about it. I think like I knew that I loved making music pretty early on in college. I realized like I just need to be doing music with my life. Like I just
like in whatever capacity.
Yeah, whatever capacity. Like specifically on the creative side. Like I didn't really know what a writer producer was at the time, but as soon as I found out what that was, I was like, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I mean the artist stuff it's hard because it's so, you end up caring so much about how other people react to it. And I think that like seeing no reaction to those songs was just sort of crushing. It's like I felt like I was just screaming into this void.
Yeah. I mean, we are all kind of screaming into the void a little bit.
Exactly. It's part of the vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I ended up just getting drawn back to it because, especially because the songs we made in high school, like I didn't produce them. I just sort of wrote them and my friend produced them. But then in college, I like started teaching myself how to produce. Just like COVID hit, I was just like obsessing over these YouTube like tutorials and stuff. I watched like so many hours of Disclosure making songs.
That's
I was on Logic at the time. I was just like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Well, it like connects you to the music in a different way.
Totally.
To be like, it's one thing to write a whole song on guitar and then like hand it off, sort of, but then to, I don't know, be like, I created that synth sound. Like you're married to it. It is the most, it might be the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. And it's the reason that it's like, to be able to write and produce a song from scratch is like so incredible. Yeah. And it's only something you could really do recently. Like, that's true.
Like, I mean, like Prince, I guess, like recorded and produced a lot of his own stuff, but like, it's only with like, I really think it's only with like laptops that you're able to like sit in your bedroom with like $300 worth of gear and make like amazing records.
Yeah, you barely even need a guitar.
Yeah, literally.
To make a full song.
Literally.
Yeah.
And that like when I realized that was possible, that's when I was like, okay, like I need to get some stuff out. And when I realized that it sort of, the artist thing felt so right because I could just take these ideas start to finish. I could take how I was feeling and I could get it across the finish line.
Yeah.
And there was something about knowing that I could do that made it feel like I should do that. I don't know.
You were just drawn to it.
I was drawn.
Couldn't escape it.
Couldn't escape, no.
And now you're releasing your mixtape.
Exactly. Yeah. Big mixtape. I haven't even announced it yet, so
well, it'll be announced by the time
exactly.
This is out. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I want to know if listeners had never heard you before, what's the first song you would want them to start with?
Oh, that's a good...
Our appetizer.
Yeah, it's been interesting ordering it because I feel like so many of the songs on it have already been released.
Yeah.
And so the reason I see it as a mixtape is because it sort of has fallen into place as opposed to being this like intentional thing that I set out to create. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first started releasing these songs, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to put all these on like an album. But but now that these songs have come out and I look at them, it's like...
Sorry, there's a rogue dog in the office.
It's really cute.
I can't even see it, but I'll just trust you on that.
Yeah.
You didn't set out to write an album.
Didn't set out to write an album.
You just wrote songs and then they sort of fell.
They fell into this mixtape, yeah. I think if there was one song to listen to, I mean, I feel this is maybe a cop out, but the first song I put out, Down Bad.
Yeah.
It's not I guess it's the second song on the album or on the mixtape, but that I like people to start there.
One night got me too fucked up. Now it's 3, 2, 1, and I just keep thinking about you. I'm losing my cool. Oh no, I think about it. Oh, I think about it. Am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind to you?
I've moved away from that sound world a bit.
Yeah.
But it feels like the purest like distillation of how I like it just felt like I was so excited to put it out at the time because it was the first song I'd made where it just felt good and it felt just like how I was feeling and it just captured it so well.
Yeah.
And even though I've moved away from it a bit, it just like holds such a special place for me.
What inspired the writing of that song?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, I was down bad.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I had COVID. It was like Christmas. I got COVID right before Christmas, and I was with my family, but like locked in my room, and because they didn't have COVID. And so it was just kind of sad. I was like in my room, like just like doing nothing while
making your beats.
Well, they were all having fun, and I was like feeling down bad at the time for this girl, and like, well, and then also like just thinking about, I was getting so nostalgic for this like pre-COVID era that like those like this has come back to me again and again, like getting really nostalgic for those, like that little chunk of time right before COVID.
Like the January through March.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you feel this at all, but like.
Yeah, you were probably like a junior in college?
Sophomore, yeah.
Yeah, I was a freshman when COVID hit. So that was like, I had just gotten into a show at Berkeley that I was so excited about. I was like, it's finally happening. I'm making moves.
Totally.
All shut down.
Totally.
And it's never felt that way since.
Exactly. You never get back to it. It was totally lost, and you didn't even realize it was lost until so far after. And I was in my room feeling down bad, thinking about also being down bad in that period, and like just remember like it was like winter and on the East Coast, and like it was just like freezing nights, and just like walking to like this person's room to like meet like late night meetups and that sort of thing. And
that's so Gilmore Girls of you.
It did, yeah.
Have you ever seen Gilmore Girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
She goes to Yale.
I know. I've heard.
Damn. You should watch it.
Yeah. There's this a cappella group I was in that's also apparently in
This
Gilmore
is crazy.
Girls.
It just keeps getting better. Choir.
We don't talk about a cappella.
Justin Bieber.
I know, literally. No, the a cappella stuff is so funny because I feel simultaneously like so embarrassed because I feel like it's such a meme. And yet my music is I just think it's it's ended up being so influenced by like that harmony, choir, acapella, vocoder, just sort of vibe.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense in the best way possible. I was the president of the acapella club in high school, I can't.
Did you start the acapella club? Or?
No, I was nominated to be president.
You ran?
I didn't. Everyone was just like, okay, and you're going to take over this now?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, all right.
How did you do a good job?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can't lie. I think we did a lot of Shawn Mendes covers.
I did arrange for a high school acapella group. What was? Oh my god, I forget the Shawn Mendes song. Stitches.
I did Stitches too. Jeez. Yep. Anyways.
No, acapella, in defense of acapella and specifically arranging for acapella, like it's such a good exercise, and like
totally,
how do you make it work with like such limited resources?
Yeah. And
like going from because I was arranging and for my group in college before I really knew how to produce it all. And so going from that world of being like, it's because in acapella you have such restraints on what you can do.
Yeah. It's
so hard. And then to go from that to producing where you all of a sudden just have like infinite things, it's like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that is really interesting though, because with acapella, you kind of have to like completely make the most efficient use of every voice.
Exactly.
And it is kind of the same with production. Like you could go really crazy and put too many sounds in and like totally muddy up everything you're doing. But like, then you kind of know how to make the best use of what's in front of you.
Totally. 100%.
Wow. Thanks, acapella.
I know. It really saved us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also it's cringy as fuck, so.
Well, yes. It's fine. No one needs to know. I'll just make a TikTok about this part of the podcast, and then everyone will know. But I'm curious how you think the sound of Down Bad, because you said that sonically it's a little bit different now.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's the difference there?
I think at the time I was obsessed with this like tight sort of songwriting style that just felt really quick and like efficient, and I wanted to get it across in a way that felt like lyrically artistic and like all these things, but still like punched. And I definitely feel some of that draw now. Some of the more recent songs still have definitely a bit of that, but I've also allowed myself to just like really soften and like let these songs breathe a bit.
You don't need to fit into a pop structure.
Exactly.
Have that, like, quick-witted chorus every time.
Like I definitely was in a little bit in that world. And actually the idea for that song and a few of these songs all started as like I was making these songs for I spent the previous summer out in LA shadowing this like writer producer guy.
Cool.
And he was sort of making songs for Love at the time, and he was like, hey, if you make a good love song, like send it to me and maybe I'll send it to him.
Right.
I was like, okay.
So then that was your life's mission.
It became my life's mission for a few months.
So these are like songs that didn't make it?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, who knows whether they made it or not, but they definitely didn't get put out, obviously.
Yeah.
And since then I've definitely moved away from that, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's funny to think about that's where it sort of started in a way.
Yeah, I mean, that's like as tight pop production as it gets.
Right.
Love style.
Yeah, and I love his stuff, especially a lot of his older stuff, but I've also found it's been nice it has been really good for me creatively to move away from it too, because I did feel, especially with that pop structure stuff, like it can feel a little suffocating, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
And it was hard because I feel like the songs that I put out, the songs that I loved, would feel very honest, but I would make a lot of songs that didn't feel that honest and didn't feel that real.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the songs weren't starting from necessarily the right place. Like sometimes they would end up there, and then oftentimes those would be the songs that I would love and would put out. But now I'm really trying to make songs from like, how do I feel?
Yeah, rather than like, here's this cool line for the chorus, let me work my way up to it.
Exactly.
And then it's just like, I don't know, completing a goal.
Totally.
Almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's crazy that it's taking me this long, but it's like, it feels so much better to just write about what I'm feeling. This is something we'll talk about too. It's like a big theme on the album or the mixtape is like not knowing how I feel, choking down how I feel.
Well, what's the song that would represent the album then?
Yeah, I mean the title track, Claw Marks.
But I know it's a lie, 'cause I can't make it work. You're holding on for your dear life, baby, but it's gonna hurt.
I haven't even sent to that many people in my life.
I've heard it.
You've heard it. Abby's heard it. Yeah, it's such a special song to me.
Yeah.
That and the Back to Order, which I guess is the last one, both sort of really get into this, like, I don't know how I feel. I sort of push things down. Mm-hmm. And it can sort of ruin things. It can hurt people. And
you're like so far in that you're being avoidant about it.
Exactly. And yeah, that's like a big, for a while I thought it was, and I remember in high school, like really wanting to write songs and not knowing what I felt. And so I didn't know what, I felt like I was like, I have nothing to write about. But recently I feel so unlocked because like, I can write about that. Like I can write about not knowing how I feel. I can write about that struggle, because that is one of the biggest things I feel.
Yeah, I think it unlocked something for me when I realized I could write more than one song about the same feeling too.
Oh my God, yeah, totally.
I don't know why I went so long where I was like, well, you've already done it.
It's like, yeah, exactly. No, literally.
But to have a whole project where it's like just you exploring that and like how it fits into different parts of your life.
100%.
That's awesome.
And there's so much more to explore with it too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny you say that. That was such a big realization I had recently too. Yeah. That song Back to Order I made. That's the oldest song on the project.
Bring it back to order. Hold steady ground.
It's probably like 3-4 years old, and it's funny because like I've like totally come back to the exact same sentiment, but it's like, why didn't I pay attention to this when I made it? Like this was This was the road, and it always felt like I sent it to my friends. They're like, "This is the best song you've ever made." What? And like, it just came so smoothly. It felt so good when I made it, and I totally went away from it, and now I've come back to it, and that's sort of why I want to end the mixtape with that song.
Yeah. What's like? Could you wrap up the sentiment of that song?
Yeah.
For listeners.
Yeah. I mean, the chorus is like, there's like barely any lyrics in the song. I tried to drown it away. Should I wait?
No, you're good. Okay. Sorry, I'm just shooting dirty looks at people. You won't be able to hear it on the audio.
Oh yeah, tell me about the song. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, that's valid because no one can see what's happening behind the camera.
Right, exactly.
They just see me looking like an asshole.
There's 4 dogs. Oh my God, no.
There's always a million dogs. Back to Order.
Yeah, Back to Order.
Barely any lyrics, but the sentiment is.
I tried to drown it away. I tried to push it down. Something pulled astray, didn't make a sound. bring it back to order, hold steady ground, leave tears in the pillow. What a love I found. And then it repeats twice. That's the whole song.
It kind of reads as like affirmations in a way.
It is affirmations, but it's like a toxic affirmation.
Yeah.
And I realized that it doesn't even necessarily read that way. I was talking to my friend about it last week. It's like, it's like I'm trying not to be sad. I'm trying not to feel sad. I'm trying not to feel anything, or I try not to feel bad, I guess. Yeah. So and then it's like something pulls a string. I start to feel bad. But it's like, no, bring it back to order. Like, bring it back to neutral.
Right. But then if you're, like, in a self-sabotage phase of life, I feel like you could read that as, like, I start feeling, and then, nope, I stop feeling
Exactly.
again.
No, literally, yeah. And then the last line I just read is that it's sort of like, leave tears in the pillow, which, like, you know, there's a whole other song I had to cry about and how I don't cry or, like, don't cry in front of other people. And
not at all.
I mean, I do.
Sometimes. I'm a big crier, so I'm always trying to get people to cry more.
I know. Well, I need to cry more. And
we all do.
We all do. It's so internalized, and it's so. I knew I wanted to write a song about it for a while. It just took a minute to like get to that point.
Which makes sense based on the topic. Yeah.
Totally. And it's weird that it feels so easy to post about this song. Even though it's so hard for me to actually do it. In a weird way, it's like easier for me to talk about it than to, I don't know. But the last line of the back to order chorus is just like, leave tears in the pillow. What a love I found. Talking about like that like self-love and that like toxic self-love. Like I don't let myself feel. Like what a love I found. It's like I'm talking about the love for myself that like I'm not affording myself the space to feel and to cry and to do those things.
That's so complex. I feel like it's one of those songs where whatever you're looking for, you can get out of it.
Totally. And like that's just what I read it. Like I'm such a big believer in like I even thought about this today. I was like, should I even like talk about what any of these songs mean? Because I love.
What do you mean? Yes.
but I love when artists refuse to like explain things.
Why do you love that?
Because it makes sure that there's no right answer, and I don't think there is a right answer with any art, right? Like there's no right interpretation, and I
agree with that.
And I mean, I want to talk about these things, what I read into it, but I really do love how people can read whatever they want out of it. You know, I love the movie Inception and like have you seen Inception?
I haven't. I haven't seen like any movie ever.
It's okay. This is a good movie.
Okay, I'll watch it.
But the ending is like super ambiguous, and the director Christopher Nolan has like made a point of he doesn't explain. It's like, is it a dream? Is it reality? Like you don't really know.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a badass decision. Oh my God. I'm hitting all the PJ-isms, not crying, Inception.
Making my computer freak out.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just got a new computer and it's like.
I think I'm on the road to that.
Yeah. If you like, it's the best thing that's happened to me since I learned how to write songs. Yeah. It's like finishing songs is the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Same. Yeah.
And having my computer crash every 3 minutes and the fan was like,
dude, doing work and having my computer on my lap and feeling like my fucking legs are burning is insane.
I know. Yeah. It gets hot. Like,
it gets hot between editing this podcast and then producing music. I'm
Do you produce your own stuff?
I don't produce my own stuff, but I'll make like little demos.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm excited to listen. I wanna check it out.
Thanks. I just released my first song on Friday.
No way.
I did. I wasn't gonna plug myself, but
no, plug it. Come on.
I did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
Oh my God, you're interviewing me now.
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel overwhelmed that everyone was like really nice to me and like so many people showed up to the show. And I don't know.
So you did a live show for the release?
I did a little release party, yeah. And it's just weird because like I moved to LA like not even 2 years ago now, and I always show up to things, but I didn't know that people like knew I was there really, and like they showed up for me in return.
That's awesome.
It was just so nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really hard to find a community in LA. I mean, you only moved here 6 months ago, so I don't know how you feel.
It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, wait, people care about me? That's crazy. Insane news.
No, it's beautiful because I think it can feel very, very lonely.
Yeah.
Until like you get glimpses of like, oh, it's people actually.
Yeah. So people care about me. That's my conclusion.
Did you move here when you were 20?
I moved here when I was 21. I graduated college when I was 20.
Okay. Wow. Sick.
Yeah.
Did you go early?
No, I completed my degree in 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's whatever. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay.
Let's not derail this thing.
I like diverting attention.
I know, and I hate attention being on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I host a podcast. Anyways, the fuck were we talking about? Oh, I'm curious if claw marks, this is a question I had, is based off of that TikTok poem about everything I've ever loved, I leave claw marks on.
Yes. So I made claw marks with another guy, this guy Ricky Gourmet, who's awesome. And we were talking. I was having relationship issues, or sort of struggling with some stuff, and
vague.
We met. I met this guy for the first time, like cold session.
Yeah.
And we spent I show up at 1, and probably the only thing we did from 1 to 5, 6 p.m. was just talk and play ping pong and just hang out. And he was just digging into how I felt and all this stuff. And he shared this quote from a David Foster Wallace book.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I've ever let go has claw marks on it.
Yep.
I've never actually read the book, so I feel like it's I need to read the book at some point.
Yeah, I don't even know what book it is.
It's Infinite Jest, which is 1,000 pages. It's so long.
No, that's too many to get to one quote.
Exactly. I was like, maybe I'll just search for the quote. No.
Yeah.
But it just it struck a chord with me. And then for the last 30 minutes, we started writing the song that ended up being claw marks. Took it home, wrote lyrics. We sort of wrote the piano riff and the melody together. And then I came home and just wrote through the lyrics.
That's an interesting process, because I feel like most people I hear from do lyrics first all the way through, but you kind of had the vibe from the quote, and then you orchestrated that musically.
Totally.
And went backwards.
Exactly. And the quote, it wasn't even let's make that a song. It was we talked with a quote. 2 hours later, we started making a song. I bring it home. And then I was what do I want to call it? Because I don't think I've even written the second verse at the time, which is where I say that quote.
Yeah.
And then I called it claw marks. And then after I named it, I was writing the second verse, and then I was okay, this is where it'll go.
Yeah. So the feeling really stuck
happened.
with you so much.
It was really about the feeling, of knowing you maybe need to let something go, but being unable to.
That's a cool name for the entire mixtape too, because I feel like that can be in regards to letting a person go, letting a phase of your life go, letting a feeling go, or letting go of not being able to let go.
Exactly, all those things. And then the other thing I realized was it's also in a way I'm letting these songs go.
Yeah, they don't exist for just you anymore.
Exactly. And for me, I said, finishing these songs is the hardest thing I ever have to do. And it's I just grab onto these songs. I'm holding on to them, trying to make them perfect, trying to get them where, but at a certain point you just have to let it go. But these songs really are those claw marks of they just have all those scars of what I was trying to process and trying to hold on to.
Yeah.
And that's the intro track, Everything I've Ever Let Go. The whole concept of that is I'm trying to basically sample every other track on the album in that track.
That's such a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm just beginning my sort of electronic music phase of life.
Oh yeah.
And I love when you hear the little motifs.
Exactly. Yeah. That was very much the idea. And it's cool because in that it's Everything I've Ever Let Go. It's literally all of the songs on the album, which are everything I've ever let go, because these are all the only songs I've ever put out.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked. I'm worried the quote is a little too on the nose.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, I think
it's also whatever.
I think the book is pretty old.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's 20 years. I don't know.
And also that's trend. It was trending on TikTok at one point, and everyone knows it now. But you reference it in a sort of vague way so that it's not direct.
Yeah, exactly.
It's inspired.
It's inspired.
And you expand on it throughout the whole album.
Exactly.
Album mixtape thing.
Yeah.
Oh wait, tell me about why it's not an EP or an album, but a mixtape instead.
I mean. I guess I don't even know if it can. I mean, I don't know if it even matters anymore. But the reason I want it to be a mixtape is because I feel in my head I know what my first album what I want my first album to be.
Oh, cool.
And I don't think this is it. I think that's like maybe the biggest reason.
That's a great reason.
Yeah. Like when I listened to, I was listening to Beyonce's Lemonade on the way here.
Yes.
Maybe the best album of all time.
Arguably.
Yeah. It's like one of the few, I bought it. Yeah. Like you had to buy it because it wasn't on Spotify when it came out. So when I get in my car, like the Bluetooth automatically starts playing it because it's like one of the only things in my iTunes library.
Yeah.
And most of the time I'll switch over, but today I was like, it started playing.
Yeah, let me just run this down.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
That's
like,
funny.
That's an album to me. It's so intentional and it's so structured.
Yeah.
And I wanted to like give a structure to these songs that I'd put out, but it didn't feel like an album. And part of the reason also is that most of the songs on it I've already put out like as singles.
Yeah.
And I do want my first album to be like mostly new songs that people are hearing for the first time and hearing in that context.
Yeah, this is like a collection of works. The album will be like, God, I don't want to think about it like a musical, but it's kind of like a musical.
No, totally. So it's like
you know what I mean.
Exactly. Like the whole thing itself is kind of one big song.
Yes.
Whereas this, yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. Whereas this feels a little bit more like a playlist.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Well, what's like a cherry on top track from the mixtape? Like one that maybe people might not listen to as much, or just like a deep cut that you want to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, some of the deep cuts are, Claw Marks and Back to Order, I feel like are the big ones.
Yeah.
Those, I don't think, they're like only on the mixtape. They're at the end. Some of the most meaningful songs I've ever made. Yeah. To me.
The intro's a good one too.
The intro's dope too. Yeah, I had so much fun making that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a fun exercise. I was like pulling in all this stuff from the other songs. I was getting so excited.
Having a million projects open at once.
I know. Well, I would just go in Ableton. You can like go look into the project without opening it. So I would just like grab like, I'm gonna take that synth sound, or I'm gonna take those harmonies or whatever.
That's so fun.
It was really cool. It was a really fun. Yeah, I was so stoked on it when I was doing it. I was like, I'm an artist.
I'm a genius. That's cool.
Yeah, in terms of the deep cuts, I don't know, there's this song "Let Me Go" that there's a theme here.
I'm learning this.
Too much is my mind on you naked. 2 cups, how did I get so wasted? I want you so bad it almost closes up my throat.
But I got very burned out in the fall, in November and December, and I was just like so in my head about making songs, and I was like listening to, I've been going back to a lot to old Hosier's first album, Hosier,
Yes.
which was just like such a, that, so there's like a few like albums that were just like, for me, High School PJ were just like changed the game, and that was one of them. Wow. And there's a song Cherry Wine on it that has this just like,
don't even talk to me about that song.
Yeah. And I was like I remember I learned to play in high school, and I was just like obsessed with it, and I love that like guitar riff, and there's a Noah Kahn song too that also has a similar vibe, and I was like, what if we took, because you got like a drone, like a like on the E string, and then like this little like riffy thing on top. I was like, what if we try and do that, but like all vocal chops? And like I'm obsessed with vocal chops. Like I'm such an
acapella kid.
I know, but it's just like I love the sound of like a really processed vocal that you can't even really tell is a vocal, and then over that, that's like half of my songs how they start. It's like processed vocal chop. The lead vocal comes in on top of that, and then it fills out with like vocoder and harmonies or whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, what if we sort of try and do like a similar riff thing with a drone for that song? And then the song just spilled out of me. Like the lyrics, it was one of those songs where I just sort of like gibberish freestyled, and then like slowly morphed the gibberish into. Yeah. I hope it makes sense now. But,
I think it does from what I remember.
Okay.
But
that's good.
It's really cool hearing from an artist though that is producing their own music, because not that it's like makes you any less of an artist to work with an outside producer, but I feel like so much of your process is based too in the production. Like the feeling is in that writing.
100%. Like in my head, I can't disentangle it. And your comment about the lyrics I thought was really interesting, because I really want to write songs lyrics first. I really try to push myself to do that, but I don't think I've ever been able recently in the last few years to write a song completely start to finish, like vocal guitar, before I start like I just like have to.
That's
like
really
at a certain point I just like can't.
Yeah.
I was literally, this song I started like 2 days ago is like maybe my favorite song I've ever made, and like
cool.
I was like, this time I'm gonna write the bridge before I start producing it. Like, nope.
The bridge never happens.
Yeah. No, yeah. But that's what I mean. It's like I want it at some point. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna lock it down.
I'm gonna lock it down. And
I believe in you.
Yeah. It's my toxic trait. One of my toxic traits.
If that's your toxic trait, then you're fine.
I have worse ones as the album is okay. It's mostly about self-love, toxic self-love.
Right, for sure.
Or lack of self-love.
I won't push you on that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple closing questions for you. I would love to know if your music was a candle, what scent would it be?
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like I was so in music world. It's like, hey, what does it sound like? And then you start with the art, you get into the artist stuff. It's like, okay, now I need to figure out what the hell this looks like.
What does it smell like?
What does it smell like is a question I've never thought about, but I guess that's the next step.
I get the logical next step.
It has to happen. I think rosemary. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I like rosemary.
Yeah, I'm down.
At home, we have this like rosemary bush, and my dog would always like, go nuts in the rosemary and then come back just like smelling
like rosemary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good memory.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I haven't written songs about that, but that's definitely. I think it's a smell that feels. Yeah.
It feels very homey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also would like to know what your favorite.
Oh, actually, I have another. Sorry.
No, tell me.
Salt, like sea salt, like salt water.
Rosemary and salt sounds like an awesome
That
candle.
would be sick. Yeah.
I think you should work on that.
I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
I'm starting a candle business.
Okay. If you need marketing help.
Do you want a candle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Okay.
Sounds good. If your music was a candle, that's the question I just asked you. Restart. Back it up. What's your favorite
If your
sound?
candle was a music.
If your candle was a music, what would it sound like?
Yeah.
The vibes are so bad. I want to know what your favorite sound is that isn't music.
That's a candle? Okay.
That's a candle?
I love that question.
Thank you. I delivered it really cohesively.
Yeah. I love putting in like ambiance, whatever. I like try to like record like if I'm like in a place where it feels like this is like some scene.
You're that guy that has your voice memos app out.
Yeah, but it's like
indiscreet.
It's indiscreet.
For sure.
But like I love like you hear a concert in the distance, like that sort of vibe. You're at the ocean, you're at a party, or
you ever listen to those like YouTube playlists where they take the Fall Out Boy album and make it sound like you're hearing it from the other side of the door?
Yes. Well, there's so many of those.
Yeah. I don't know why I only listened to the Fall Out Boy. That's what I did.
Wow, really specific. No, they have like it's like bar mitzvah like bathroom, and it's like the playlist is
mine was like when you're drunk on the bathroom floor, but like you do your thing. They like have there's like a million playlists. I love that as a Yeah,
it's interesting. I like this whole. I love James Blake so much.
Yeah,
and he's been ranting a lot. He's been talking a lot about like sped up and slow down audio. And there's something about, because I put this all in the same sort of category. It's like speeding up a song, listening to it, slowing it down and reverbing it. So the bathroom thing is basically like you filter it and you reverb it, and then you have a video of a bathroom and it sounds like you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I think that stuff is so cool.
Yeah.
I really fuck with it creatively, and I get the gripes against it, but I do think that there's something, I just think that it feels, you listen to it, you watch these bathroom videos, and it feels emotional. It makes you feel something that you just don't feel that way listening to the actual song, because that's what it sounds like in that place.
Because it's not about what the song is anymore. It's about your experience listening to it.
Exactly. Which is, by the way, the whole point of producing a song, right?
Right.
You are creating the experience of listening to it, right?
Yeah.
People add like vinyl crackle. People add.
Oh yeah, love that.
They try to make it sound like it's coming out of like a car radio, or trying to make it sound like it's
birds in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I just moved to a new spot, and like there's always you always hear birds in whatever I record, which is actually kind of like it.
Yeah.
There's a cool Jabe Collier video he's bringing out his production. He's like, I just leave my window open. I can't do a British. I'm not.
That was great. Great start.
Take it back. He's like, I just leave my window open. I like the sound of where I am to bleed into this song.
Yeah.
And I love that. And long rant about.
That was a good rant.
I need to give you a sound.
Favorite
sound.
Give me a sound. That can be a sound in itself. Just the world
just
around
me talking. It's so cliche, but I love the ocean sounds.
That's not cliche.
Waves.
Yeah. This fits. Rosemary, sea salt, ocean.
Yeah. The ocean comes back. It comes back in a lot of the songs.
It comes back.
It's such a beautiful thing.
My final question for you is, I want to know who your ones to watch are. Who are you listening to that I should be listening to?
That's a great. I was gonna say Artemis, but he's already being watched. I feel like
I'm watching.
You're watching.
Yes.
Okay. My buddy Noah Henderson.
I feel that I know the name.
He's awesome.
Okay.
He's a good friend of mine. Makes awesome music. Also writer, producer himself.
Cool.
Ones to watch.
I have one for you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
While you were talking about the intro track, I was thinking about my friend Austin. His project is called Gilmore.
Sick.
And it's like electronic, like synthy type stuff, and it's just so artful.
Yeah.
He like brought me to a synth store and like taught me how to like put all the wires and stuff. And
so sick.
I have no idea how any of it works, but it reminded me of what you were saying with Ableton, how you were like pulling sounds from here or there, but he's doing it physically.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Gilmore.
He just released his debut EP.
Let's go. I can't wait to listen.
Yeah.
And I guess another one I'll mention, this girl Chithra.
Okay, I don't know.
It's awesome. She has basically 2 songs out now, I guess.
Sick.
It's like it's like experimental drum and bass. And she also is like loves harmonies, loves like those
vocal
thick textures, which I'm always here for.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for being here.
Abby, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I'm gonna do so many podcasts now. This is
Well, I guess I
first
created a monster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm starting 4 podcasts tomorrow, and
That's the age we live in, unfortunately.
It is. How do you break through? The noise?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It was so fun.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Once again, this is Ones to Watch Chef's Choice. I'm Abby Kenna.
And I'm PJ Frantz.
Oh, you got it.
And this is
Chef's Choice. Yay.